Hey guys, Ben Crosswhite here, and today I want to show you my top 5 back strengthening exercises. Now this could be either back strengthening for functionality, or it could be back strengthening and conditioning just for looks. But these are the top 5. I would suggest doing them on a weekly basis, and I'll go through each one, how many repetitions, exactly how to perform them, and things to look for that you might not know when doing these exercises previously. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first exercise is a banded Romanian deadlift. This is one of my favorites. It substitutes with a regular deadlift, and it's great. It's a little bit easier on that lower back. It's still going to activate all the right muscles that you need. The multifidus, the quadratus lumborum, the erectors, all of those are going to be activated during this exercise. I like the band on it especially because it's going to add the glute involvement a little bit more so. Every time you extend forward with the hips, the glutes are going to become engaged, and keeping that contraction is going to take pressure off the back while still working and activating those muscles that you typically wouldn't do. So the first step is to have the band around the hips. It's going to be right at that hip hinge position. It's going to actually help you get a better hinge at the bottom. I like this with dumbbells more than kettlebell or some other barbell or a different variation, because you can get displacement of the dumbbells to the side laterally rather than in front anteriorly the entire time. So it's going to take a little pressure off at the top, and you can drive those hips forward a little bit more. So the first step is to get your feet in position about hip width apart. Good form in picking the dumbbells up, hip width apart here. You're going to look straight ahead. You want to keep a neutral spine the entire time doing this exercise. The first step is driving the hips back, just like any deadlift. Driving the hips back, keeping your back completely straight, no flexion. You're keeping it really tight to the thighs, coming right down past the knees, and then driving the hips through at the top. The closer you can get to your legs, the better. And again, at the top, I'm squeezing through the band, engaging my glutes, and taking a little pressure off the back. This is a great one to do in sets of 12 to 15 for good strengthening and good muscular endurance. Go up in weight, roughly 3% every couple weeks. In progression, don't go too heavy too quick. And if your back feels a little off that day, stop, come back a different day, or later that day, do some exercises that I'll show you in a different video, warm up properly, and then come back to it. But it's a great exercise to add in. Okay, so the next exercise is a cable bent arm pull down. This one is a great one to do to activate the rhomboids. It hits a little bit of lats, and it's very safe on the back. Obviously, progress properly. Don't go too heavy initially, but you're going to take the cable with the handle. I prefer a straight bar. It can be a slight curve, but you don't want too much of a bend in the bar. Try to keep it as straight as you can. You want to put thumbs on top so you can have pressure more on the outside of the hand, on that ulna side or pinky side of the arm. From here, you're going to go about shoulder width apart. You're hinging the hips again, keeping your back straight. We're pulling with the cable and the bar coming back towards your belly button. So I want you tapping your belly button every single time, pulling in, taking the elbows back, drive them back towards the back wall, and then get a full extension up at the top. All this while maintaining good posture, good abdominal bracing, and no rocking of the body. You want to make sure you get a good full extension at the top, and then a good retraction at the bottom. Hold for a couple seconds every single repetition. Make sure you're really engaging those muscles you're trying to work. Again, the rhomboids are going to really activate, the lats are going to activate, and you may feel some triceps too, but if you do it properly, that should be one of the last muscle groups to engage. Make sure you breathe out coming down and breathe in coming up, and again, no rocking in the body. So this next exercise I particularly like because it's going to hit a well-rounded shoulder girdle. A lot of muscles that intertwine into that shoulder girdle that alongside of the back help to protect your spine and help your shoulders, and really does a great job in activating those muscle groups. So these are called band angels. So you're going to take a band about hip level up against the wall, make sure it's securely attached. A very light band, and you can progress properly going up little by little. However, this is small muscle groups activated, so you don't want to go too heavy too quickly. So we're gonna start with a light band, hip level, pulling your knuckles backwards, starting at your hips. From this position, keeping your core tight, you're gonna go straight up, above your head, as high as your shoulders will allow you, and then coming right back down in a slow, controlled movement. We're gonna perform 15 to 20 repetitions of this with about 5 seconds on the way up and 5 seconds on the way down. This is a great exercise for scapular mobility. It's great for scapular strength. And overall rear delt, teres, and other small muscles in the shoulders. I would do this at least once a week, if not twice a week, but it's great to group in with the other exercises that I'm telling you to do. So this exercise is an isometric banded row. It is going to be a little bit tougher than the last one, so you want to go a little heavier in the band to make it a little bit tougher because you're working bigger, larger muscle groups. So you want to start out by a heavy band attached, again, about shoulder level when you're on your knee. So get down to your knee, you're going to attach it on the wall about shoulder level. You're pulling the left side back if your left knee is up. The leg that's down, you're going to be rowing that side consistently while the left arm stays in isometric tension. So pull that back in isometric tension and hold. Drive the elbow back as far as you can. The right hand we're going to have palm down, and we're going to rotate to palm in into a neutral grip. So when you pull, you can have a little movement, about 10 to 15 degrees in the hips, but try not to rotate too much. Try to get good extension and good retraction, just like the other ones that we did. It's very important to pull and hold and squeeze those shoulder blades together. A big thing I see in a lot of my clients is they lift their shoulders. They start recruiting a lot of the upper back muscles, which you don't want to do. You want to keep it low, you want to keep it low and pull about 90 degrees with the elbow. So when you pull in, we're going to keep the elbow in tight, right by the ribs. The further back we can get the elbow, the better, and keep about 90 degrees in that elbow. Make sure you're breathing out on the way back and in on the way forward. When you get 20 reps to 25 reps, you want to switch your legs and do on the opposite side. So you're going to hold on the right hand, keep it tight, pulling with the left. Squeezing at the top every time. Hold about 2 to 3 seconds every repetition and you will feel your back on fire. It's an excellent one to do. Okay guys, the last exercise I'm going to show you for good back health and a strong back to help with injury prevention is going to be the chest supported row. I love the chest supported row because it takes pressure off that lower back. It takes pressure off the facet joints, the disc, and you can load more with the arms and pulling in the back with your lats and your rhomboids and even some traps. The big thing here is to make sure you fully disengage at the bottom, just like any other back exercise. You don't want your biceps doing all the work, you want your back doing the work. So a good scapular retraction first and then bending at the elbows second is very important in this exercise. I like 45-degree angle. If every angle is great, but 45 is the one that I like the most and I feel it the most in my back. I do change it up occasionally, but it's all going to depend on what you're trying to work, what angle and muscle groups you're trying to work, and how often. So start with your chest down. Keep your head above, because again, you want a neutral spine. You don't want any flexion or extension in that spine. So you want to keep a good neutral spine, head is above. Brace yourself well. Make sure you can get a full extension down. You don't want to go to where there's just a slight bend in the elbows. So from here, I can get that good full extension. As I pull up, I'm bringing my elbows straight back, getting 90 degrees in the elbow, and you're pulling slightly towards your hips. What I see a lot of people do wrong is they'll shrug up, take the elbows more towards the ceiling instead of back in the same line as the bench in the angle, and then they're working all traps and biceps. So you want to pull back towards the hips, get a good squeeze. The more you can pinch those shoulder blades together, the better. Try to get a good second or two hold, and then get a full extension back down at the bottom. Again, this takes a lot of pressure off that lower back. You can do as much weight as you want, as much as your upper back will take, and it's great to do high repetitions or low repetitions. I like doing 2 sets of heavy, of 6 to 12, and then doing 2 sets of around 12 to 15. But you can compound and change as needed, depending on what your goals and needs are. Thanks for watching the videos on the 5 exercises that I like to do for back health, my top 5. We are gonna put out one video every single week, so make sure you subscribe so you can be the first to see these videos. And we're gonna do it mainly on back health, but also on full body exercises that are gonna help you get your goals the fastest you can possibly get them while keeping it safe. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time.